What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we're going to give a little bit of a recap of some important announcements that were made at last week's union meeting here at Local 26. Some of these announcements, I think they apply all over the country for any jurisdiction and any local. But what I'm going to talk about is specifically driven towards Local 26 members. We're also going to cover Weingarten Rights a little bit. And we're going to cover what it is you should do if you're written up at work and you disagree with the write-up. These are all conversations that happened at the union meeting, and I think it's important to share them with you guys, because those of you who don't go to union meetings didn't receive this information, and if somebody on your job site didn't go to the union meeting, they can't give it to you. So if you happen across this channel on this particular day, you're in for some luck, because you're going to get some insight. Now, here at Local 26, we have requirements for licensing in order to receive paid holidays. Now, for apprentices, it's important that you get your apprenticeship license. It doesn't cost much, about 12 bucks, and it allows for you to be paid your holidays. So the money that you make on your holiday pay is worth it just to have the license. But more importantly than that, if you guys do not go about getting your apprenticeship license, you can be prevented from working in our jurisdiction because of laws that were passed that require licensing. Now, we fought for those laws to be passed. It gives us an advantage over the non-union sector because we do have licensing. But when our members decide that they don't need a license, all they need is a yellow ticket, it undermines our advantage. And so I want you guys to know, apprentices especially, and journeymen also, get your licensing up. Get your licensing up. It's easy enough. Once you get one, they reciprocate across the jurisdiction. In fact, if you got a yellow ticket and you graduated apprenticeship, you can reciprocate and get your license in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So get your licenses. Why sit on that? Apprenticeship licensing is required to work in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. But in Maryland and DC, they're going to start hammering that requirement. They're going to start nailing that down. And if you're caught on a job site without an apprenticeship license, you can be laid off. Apprentices are encouraged to get their apprenticeship license by our local union. They risk not being able to work within our jurisdiction, as we talked about. And the contractors are going to be held accountable for that. Now, that's one announcement that came out that was very important. Another question was raised regarding Weingarten Rights, and I want to cover that here because I think it's always good to revisit our rights and what they are, and so that you guys are aware of what you can and can't do. So if you've heard the term Weingarten Rights and you're curious what the heck that means, Weingarten Rights are the legal right of unionized employees to have union representation during investigatory interviews that could lead to discipline. It was established in a 1975 Supreme Court case, and the rights include requesting representation. Employees can request a union representative before or during an interview if they believe their words may lead to discipline. The employer options: when a representative is requested, the employer can grant the request. They can end the interview or allow the employee to choose between an interview with or without representation. The union representative's role: the representative can advise the employee, object to intimidation, and speak privately with the employee before the interview. Employee protection: employees cannot be punished for requesting representation. Now, how do you go about requesting Weingarten Rights? You can find the words online, print them up, memorize them, whatever. But you can say, if this discussion, meeting, or telephone call could in any way be related to my being disciplined or terminated, or affect any of my working conditions, I exercise my federal rights and hereby request that my union representative or shop steward be present. Without their presence, I choose not to participate in this discussion or meeting. Please do not request that I waive this right. And that's your Weingarten Rights. Now, the reason this came up was because somebody had gotten a write-up at work. Let's say if you're late or whatever, you're late for work, and that's against company policy, and they want to start a paper trail, so they want to write you up for it. What happened was someone attempted to utilize Weingarten Rights, but a write-up is not necessarily disciplinary in nature. Sometimes it's just a form of a warning, and it's not really something that is considered a disciplinary action. And what we were told, if you disagree with a write-up, if you disagree with it, it is not a good idea to not sign the write-up, because that can be construed as a fireable offense. So instead, you can write at the bottom of the write-up, acknowledge receipt of, and sign it, and then call your union for representation about the write-up and go from that angle, as opposed to not signing it and risking being fired over it before you even get a chance to contact your union representation and have them come out and hammer out what's going on. So it's important that we know how to maneuver in these circumstances where our contractors are holding their company policy and they're trying to hold us to it, and that's okay. It's company policy. It is what it is. But if you disagree and you say, no, I didn't do anything wrong, acknowledge receipt of the write-up is what you write it at the bottom. Acknowledge receipt of, and then call your local union and say, hey, I just got a write-up. I wrote down acknowledge receipt of, but I disagree with the write-up, and I want to have you come out here and let's talk this out with the foreman and find out how we can mitigate this. Just don't try to do it on your own. That's why we pay dues. It's why we have a union. We have to utilize what's there for us. We're not paying dues just to pay dues. Yeah, having a collective bargaining agreement, all that good stuff is nice, but it's also nice to have protection and backup when you need it, and not utilize it frivolously, but when you need it. And so let's learn how to do that, how to utilize the tools that we have. That's all I got for you guys. My name's Eric. Make sure you get your licenses, man. It's important. It's what gives us an edge. So make sure you get your licenses. It's not hard to do. You fill out a little bit of paperwork, send a little fee, get your license. Especially if you're an apprentice, it's super easy. Get your licenses. It's important. My name's Eric. Please remember that the fight is not left and right. The fight is up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And remember, there can be no union without you or I front and center. So let's go. Peace.